I come to this time in my life where, for one thing, I'm not scared. Another thing, I used to have a lot of anger inside of me, and it created a lot of division in religion and color and everything. Everything was crazy in my life, and now I'm at peace. Now I'm at peace, and I realize that it's all about oneness. It's about love. And as long as there's love, once I really found love and I started loving myself, I started loving my children, I realized, and I found that love when it was taken away from me, because I took everything for granted. I even took the air that I breathe for granted. You know, once it was stripped from me was when I found true love. You know, and then I found God when I was 3 years by myself in solitary confinement. God not by name or color or religion. I found God because I sat there and I listened to Him. And then He says, you're going home and it's time to make change. It's time to love and take advantage of everyone you come across. Not advantage of, but advantage of the love to recognize them, to enjoy how they dress, who they are, their cultures, to take advantage, absorb that, because it's what you're going to take with you when you cross over and meet me. And so now, you know, I came home 5 years ago and Miguel ran into me while I was working out, and Miguel came at me and he walked all over the gym, and I was looking at him and he was like trying to figure out, is it him? Because Miguel did some great things for me back in the days. Right before I went in, 2 weeks before I went to prison, this man here helped me like incredible with my event. And then I went to prison and never saw him again till I came home a week. If it's not divine order, a week after I'm released, 2 weeks before I go to prison, he does great things for me. No communications for a decade. A week after I'm released, he's standing in front of me again. And he says, I want to coach you. I want to be your life coach. And I told him, I don't know what to say. I don't know where we're going. We stood in contact. 5 years later, he tells me, brother, I want the life coach. I want you to join up with me. We're doing the Warriors of Light. And it was like, I'm there, I'm here, I hear, and I obey. Let's go. Let's do what we have to do. And that's why I'm here. And I'm here for however I can help each and every one of you. For whatever I can do, everything I have is yours. And anything, I build websites, I do everything. I'm multitask. I do it all from D. Whatever you need from me, it's yours. And that's what I'm here to serve each and every one of you. However you want me, I'm there to serve. And that's my story.
Well, I just have to say, I love to hear your story. And I want you to know that you have been heard. And when we hear someone, in Hebrew, I'll teach you a little Hebrew word. We say shamanu, so that you know that you not only is your story valid, but you engage. And I hear you.
Thanks.
Shamanu.
Thanks. It's my son.
Everybody. I was junior. My dad invited me out here. This is the first time actually coming to a meeting. But prior to this, he explained to me, what goes on in the meeting, and the information he gets, and what they talk about. And he told me that we were coming to a meeting to talk about Trayvon Martin, the young kid who got killed, and try to organize and try to, make something better out of the situation instead of creating chaos and stuff. And I said, it's actually true what's going on, And I think it's terrible what happened to the kid, but it could have happened anywhere in the United States, But it so happened to happen here in Florida, so I think that everybody coming together is kind of great for that cause, just so they can show everybody there is unity and it's not just a racial thing.
Shamanu.
My name is Kamrus Hussain. I'm Muslim. I was very moved and touched by your story. And you know, God presents blessings in different ways. And it's such a blessing that you went to jail.
Yes, it is.
And you know, they say out of apparent evil cometh good. And I say apparent because it's not always you see it as evil. But that's the way to get the message through and to bring about the change. And such a positive change that affects not only your life, but the lives of so many other people that you have touched. And I always say the most unlucky person is he who has never made a mistake. And the luckiest person is he who makes a lot of mistakes. But when you make the mistakes, you have to learn from the mistakes. And that makes you a better person. And you have in fact demonstrated that very important aspect of life and living. And about the group here, it's so very interesting that in the Quran there's a verse that says, oh man, I could have made you different tribes and different nations. I could have made you one tribe and nation, but I chose to make you different tribes and nations, not that you may despise each other, but that you may learn to love and live in harmony with each other. So, man, it's like we are like the flowers in God's garden. You don't want to see one flower, you want to see different colors and different shapes and different sizes. That adds to the beauty of it. And of course, my life mission. These are my two brothers. I call us the three blind mice. Because we don't know what the hell we do. But we seem to be trying to bring peace and love and harmony among these three faiths, and we seem to be doing a good job. Thank God for that. And thank you for having me here today.
Sure. I'm Father Michel. I'm a Benedictine monk. I've been working actually with Rabbi Mark and Cameron here for quite a few years with interfaith group called JAM, Jews and Muslims and Christians and all. And I think, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that you had been in jail all those years, because this afternoon I was watching a documentary on Vietnamese Cardinal Tuan, who had been imprisoned for 13 years in Vietnam for his faith. And out of those 13 years, he was in solitary confinement for 9 of those years.
Wow.
And he says those were the best years of his life, because he was constantly speaking with God and God with him. That's what kept him sane. And the whole theme was be not afraid. Be not afraid, because God is always there. God is always by our side. He's always with us. And God was with Trayvon in his tank. And he's with us here in this room. I can feel his presence. He's real. He'll always be there with us, no matter what endeavor we take. And he's blessing us for this wonderful work that you've taken under your hats to do. And I'm honored to be in this place amongst all of you. Thanks to Rabbi Mark and Michael's invitation. And I'm sure we'll do great things.
Sure. sweet friends, and I mean no disrespect, I have to leave, shortly. So, but I want to hear everyone's story. We have a saying in our culture, Yurida et Sarakhali, which means that greater is the light that emerges through the darkness. And when we hear about a story such as Trayvon's, we want to look for the light. And as Michael informed us, often it's not the light that leads. You ever hear the expression, if it bleeds, it leads? This is a media expression. It means if there's blood and violence in the story, it's the top story of the novel. And so what I believe Michael is trying to do is to create a different story, to shift the paradigm towards a greater light and a greater message. And anything we can do to help support that message, you have our complete support.
I'm Michael's friend. I don't know, invited me. I'm very happy to be here. I believe in the opportunity, particularly this year, that we have to work with each other. So I invite the opportunity to actually encounter other points of view and see how we can all empower the other person and accentuate the uniqueness of the other person, and also see how we can work through difficulties together. This is kind of like the opportunity here. And I believe in personal transformation and personal growth and evolution, and that we all need to show up in our highest and best energy and light now. And so this is what I bring in, is that powerful stand for everyone.
My name is Kelly Charles France, aka Mr. Mommy Love Doctor.
Say proud.
I really believe in the power of unconditional love. I focus on unconditional love. I believe unconditional love can change the world, can heal the world, can change families, relationships, friendships. It has a lot of power in it. My love journey began back in 1999. My good friend here, Chase, was with me. The trip to, I call it Love Land, heaven. Literally went, not my body, but the spirit went there. It was lovely. When I came back, I told him I loved him. I never told nobody I loved him in my life. Not even my mom, not even my dad, nothing. So I know I was a changed person. 1999, we had a group, Legendary Disciples. Then we formed another group in 2000 called the One Love Family. The group broke up. Me and him stayed still together. And I met Mike in 2001 and worked with youth expressions for a little bit. And I kind of went my own journey, raised my family, got 3 boys, got married, everything. And now I'm back on the scene, and I'm thankful that Mike chose me to be part of the Warriors of Light, because I really feel like we're going to make a difference in Miami. And even with the Trayvon situation, I believe in divine order. I believe that happened for a reason. Because Miami, we're so ununified. And I never seen Miami come together like this, ever, because of this Trayvon situation. So I really believe that happened for a reason, just for the unity to come. Sometimes that happens, But like I said, I'm a man of unconditional love. I believe in that power. That's it.
All right, my name is Chase Hines. I was invited by Kennedy.
AKA C Lo Key. C Love is the key.
Yeah, so we had a group, and we used to promote. It was a good news. We would promote about unity and getting together and loving each other. And it was a bunch of guys from different walks of life, and we came together and we formed the One Love family. And I guess because of finances and other things, we went our own way. and we end up still carrying a message individually. And now we're like forming back, even with some of my old members. And we met Mike, and it was great because we were starting a nonprofit company, and we didn't know a thing about nonprofit. So we didn't really continue our nonprofit. We kind of jumped aboard his nonprofit.
That's the easiest way to do it.
So, you know, I'm grateful to be here, and I'm at service. You know, I'm here, and I'm glad to see everybody's here too. And it's a great vibe, and I love to feel it. And I know we're gonna do great things. And I have a lot of faith in us.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Lotoya Hines. I used to sing.
AKA Toya Love.
We just recently got married 2 weeks ago.
Oh. Congratulations.
I'm very happy to be here. I've been looking for a group like this for a very long time. I'm trying to, the same thing you're doing for men, I'm trying to do it for females.
We know
So, so I've been looking for a group like this for a while, and I'm very happy I stayed because I just came from work, as you see, and I'm very tired, but I'm very happy I stayed. The Trayvon situation, like Kenny said, everything happens when it needs to happen because I believe Florida needed this because I think it's all about competition and we need to come together and do things together. Like, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Mike, I'm sorry. Like Mike said, it's all about oneness and we need to come together and just be about oneness. And I believe in that strongly, and I feel that's the only way we're going to survive. And that's it.
Hello, my name is AJ. I've actually known Mike for pretty much half my whole life. Just like us, one they were speaking, they was there since the beginning, like when the expression started. And pretty much, Mike came to me and my friend here and told us about a new group that he was starting, Warriors of Light, and he told us he wanted us to join. And our first meeting we came and everybody pretty much told his story. Everybody had a past just like us, you know, growing up, you know what I mean, from different backgrounds, but going through the same things. But it is one thing that caught my eyes, like everybody had a special gift. Like everyone that I spoke to, you know what I mean? And it's like, for Mike to bring us together, it's like he helping us to change our way of thinking, you know what I mean? To like face our fears, and it's like helping us to discover our full potential. So it's like the Trayvon situation is just one of the many issues that we just plan to just go ahead and show, you know, not only our talent, but what we can do to help change the world, to make it a better place, to just bring love, because that's our main factor, love. So.
You were at the wedding, right?
Yeah.
Good to see you here.
Right.
Me, I'm Benji Papillon. Just like AJ said, I knew Mike like half of my whole life too. And one thing about me, as growing up, you know, I grew up and I became a leader. Like I said, I became a leader of a lot of people. So one thing about being a leader is you influence people, and at the same time for yourself, you don't want to let people down. You want to hold up to some type of standards to people. So me being a leader, I was a leader for like people in my neighborhood, basically the street. So but one thing about me that I always knew, even though I was around the streets and stuff, but those things I used to see that used to hurt me, like homeless, and people seeing people homeless used to hurt me. When people get hurt, it hurt me. So there's a lot of stuff that I knew there was some type of love in me, because I ain't like to see no tragedy. And most of all my friends didn't understand that. So the thing about it is, as I grew up, continued doing the same thing with my friends, I seemed like my spirit was getting contaminated, which just means the love that I had, it was like slowly leaving. like, you know, I started becoming cold. So they do say once we hang around people, everybody who's the same way, you're gonna end up the same way, just like that. So really couldn't find no way out because, you know, I had love, but we had love for each other. The rest of my friends didn't have love for everybody outside. So, you know, so that's how I was, you know what I'm saying? So, but when Mike came and reached out to us, he just brought me back to where I was supposed to be. Because I used to pray to God and I used to ask God, like, God, where's the love that I had? Like, when I was growing up, where's the love that I had? Why I don't feel the same way? Why things don't hurt me how it used to hurt me, you know? Why when people suffering and stuff, it still hurt me a little bit, but it don't hurt me as much. So when I found out, okay, probably I'm getting contaminated with all the other people that I've been hanging around with. So when Mike came and told me about this, so when I came, I just felt the love. So that's what I'm trying to surround myself with, so I can find my true potential into my trueness, me, which is love. You know, so I believe in God. I believe in God. You know, so I know God is love. So that's the thing I'm trying to, you know, reach right now is a peak of love. With the Trayvon situation, I ain't gonna lie, at first I got upset because I looked at Trayvon as he was me. With the hoodies and all that, so that's how I dress sometimes. But then after I started seeing all type of hatred and all that things, and when we had the last meeting, they came to me saying, if I'm like Trayvon, what example I'm finna set is I'm finna be with the hatred, I'm finna come on the love side. So I chose love, so, you know, so that's why I'm here, you know, and that's it.
I applaud you.